Hey there, my name is Alex Tack, and I'm chair of the West Zone Board. What brings me here today is to discuss an idea that I've been having on creating some kind of a technology literacy portal or some basic technology literacy platform to allow residents of Northwest Regina to come in and get those foundational understanding on different types of technology, maybe that's social media, operating systems, whatever the case may be. But it is a gap that I have noticed, and not all the communities in Northwest Regina have access things to like the library and whatnot. So uh, now part of going down that journey is trying to think of an idea or a place where you can house all this. And one thing I've come to learn is that what you can do with SharePoint Online is you can have Azure logins, but uh, as long as you're not allocating an Office 365 license, they can still interact and use SharePoint. So I set out to create a flow that, based on any information that's sent to the zone board in a very, very specific forms form, would then go out, have some back and forth with the resident. Once they confirm that they do indeed want to create an account, then it's going to go, it's going to create that Azure account for them, send them a password. They can then authenticate and participate in joining on this portal. So this is basically a demo for anybody that might be interested in participating in this program. This is an open call for interested parties and sponsors or supporters of Northwest Regina that might want to look to contribute to this and do some networking and give back to the communities themselves. So I really think this is a great idea, but a good place to start will be to take you through it so you have a little bit of an understanding on how this works. So where I'm going to begin is I'm just going to actually share my screen here. And we're going to go, and I actually already have a form going. So I haven't quite decided the mechanism whether we want the residents themselves to fill this out. I had the idea of maybe this can be tied back to memberships. So whenever you get a membership from your community association within the West Zone, then you would have the opportunity to be enrolled within the technology literacy portal for free. So you would submit your name, last name, email address, phone number, physical address, little bits of whatever information we're looking for, what community you're part of, and maybe some common interests of things you want to learn. Okay, and before we do that, we're just going to make sure this is ready to go for testing. Okay, come on. Okay, so now we should be able to submit our form. And so, yep, thank you for enrolling the West Zone Board Technology Literacy Portal. You should receive an email address in the next several minutes just discussing what to do for next steps. And over here, you can see it's gone off already. It's sending the response information. And the condition that I put in place here is to check to see if that email address already exists on the table that's keeping track of all these different user logins. If it does exist, then it'll send them an email saying that that login has already existed on here, and then whatever steps we want to take from there. But if it doesn't, then it should go out and it should create that email and send it out to the user. So we can see here, yep, hello, this is a confirmation email because you have registered for participating in the technology literacy portal by choosing yes, I agree. So this would basically be your terms and conditions, however that relates to the program itself. And we're going to say, and it's going to fire off, and we're just going to jump back into our flow and go take a look and see what's happening next. So now that we've gone and yes, I agree, there's a little bit of a delay here because I want to make sure that that create user, that brand new Azure AD user is created before any of the other pieces fire off. And a good way to do that is to put a little bit delay in place. Before I put this in, I was seeing a little bit of inconsistent behavior where sometimes these random errors would just throw, and it very much felt like certain parts of the flow were trying to fire off before others had a chance to be completed. So next is going to add that resident to an AD group that's very, very specific to having access to that SharePoint site. So this is both a mechanism I'm using to lock out those new users from everywhere else that we have within our West Zone Board Office 365 tenant, and then also locking them into kind of that base membership for participating in the literacy portal. And then it's going to send an email out to that user, and it's going to actually create a line in our SharePoint library. So you can see Susan Smith, RMV West. It's going to give the email address. It's going to the phone number, all the information they submitted, and then it's going to go over here and it's going to give us their UPN and other information that we might need to use down the road, all within this little bit of a database within this SharePoint list. And if we jump back over to the email, we're going to have a thank you. This is their username as well as their password. So we're going to copy that and we're going this. And if I just have an incognito mode or a browser, private browser instance, so you can see here, and we're going to put in there, clear out any extras that we have, and it'll ask for a password. Put in that password that was generated for us, update that password to 1, so put in the old one, and there you go. And as you can see, it's an unlicensed version of Office 365. So I mean, it gives them basic access to everything, but they wouldn't have access to any of the Office 365 apps. And if we're going to jump down here, copy this link. And as you can see, they now have access as a brand new created user just through that Forms login to have access to this technology literacy portal. So I'm still building this out. There's still quite a lot of work that needs to be done. But what I sort of envision is we have this remote learning piece right here. So maybe discussing how do our programs work, what does my access give me, getting started with online learning. So you're basically covering how to use this platform and what you're going to get out of it. You can also go to under programs where we have computer fundamentals, online safety made easy, operating systems aren't so scary, Outlook and email. I just basically tried to find some ideas what some programs could possibly look like, but it's really going to depend on what we get for partners and things because I can't create all the content myself. But I think that this would give you a rough idea of sort of what I envision. These would be more technology learning for everybody. So, demand doesn't really matter where your level of understanding on some of this stuff is. It's meant for young, old, pretty much everybody. And then the children's STEM programs would definitely be stuff that's targeted specifically for children. So maybe it's some offerings that Code Ninjas might do, or other types of online programs that are tailored specifically to kids looking at that science technology learning space. Contacting us would be all the contact information we would need for the zone board, and then partner programs would be any partners that might want to participate in the programs itself. So I did go ahead and get one of the areas up and running here, and that's just technology and learning for everyone. So you can go in here, and as you can still see, we are signed in as that new user that we created on here. So technology learning for everybody. There is a document library. One thing that I did find that was interesting is with an unlicensed Office user, this stuff is all set for view only. So the idea behind the sandbox is any of these users could come in and they can see a PowerPoint presentation already done, or a OneNote, or whatever the case may be. Let this OneNote see, but you can see it's a fully functioning sandbox for somebody to come in and sort of play with. So these are the types of things that I think could probably companion some of the programs. It is, like, again, fully interactive. So, but we'll go back over here, and let's say right here I have this class registration section, and maybe some information on some of the classes that we're offering. And I want to say, I want to register in STEM for kids and Office 365 for beginners. What's happening here is a different flow is actually firing off behind the scenes. And that's going to be this one right here. So this one's getting that response. It's actually going to look up that user that we're storing here inside of SharePoint, right down here at the bottom, so that it can adequately track and enroll them in whatever program that they wanted to pick. So, and by doing that, the one thing it does do is it will send a confirmation email to make sure that's what they wanted. So in the confirmation email, it's just saying, hey, yeah, you want to confirm that you want to participate in the program. Perhaps you're going to have the total cost of that program and other information that they're going to need to know. And we're going to say, yes, I agree. So upon them agreeing to participate in that program, the flow is continuing on. It's going to go down. It's going to update in SharePoint and send them a confirmation email right now that just says, yep, you have now been approved to participate. Now, before the approval happens, though, you have an approval flow put in place. So what the idea behind this is the Zone Board admin office would actually receive an email just saying, hey, has payment been received for this person to participate inside this program? So we're saying, yep, They paid by Visa, and we're going to submit. And now that user is getting registered within that program. So I kind of envision maybe tying the programs themselves to different Azure AD groups or something to that effect, and then you would just sort of move them into those groups whenever you needed them to have access to those particular programs, and remove them if that access was ever revoked for some particular reason or another. As you can see here too as well, is now that we've registered for some programs, it has added into as classes enrolled. Once they've completed those classes, maybe it's a formal quiz at the end of the program or whatever the case may be, that we can quickly move this information to classes complete. Because Flow is managing all this end to end, you could essentially actually have it create some kind of certificate at the end of the program. I mean, really the options are endless when you're thinking of building something like this. And that's really where I see the power of an offering like this, of having a lot of potential, is we're only bottlenecked by our own creativity, to be honest. So this has just been a quick demo, just showcasing how this all possibly could work together, and how I basically envision this technology literacy portal working. And if there's anybody out there that's interested in helping with this program or seeing where this goes, I'm definitely interested in looking for partners. I mean, again, this isn't something I'm going to be able to do all on my own, but I think this is a great opportunity for collaboration and cooperation with other folks in different IT sectors within Regina, and a very, very base starting point of what could be a really, really exciting opportunity to, grow that footprint. When I think about community associations and zone boards within Regina, in a lot of respects, I find that Central Zone, they're really known for their social justice and humanitarianism and those types of programs that are going on. When I think about the South Zone, I really think more like sports programs, entertainment programs, things like that. That's what they seem to be more known for. When it comes to the West Zone, I think there's a missed opportunity that we could be known for the technology area of the city, where we're really kind of pushing the boundaries on those types of offerings. So that's really what I envision. This has been a demo on what that could possibly look like. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch, and I look forward to continuing to update everybody as this program continues to evolve over the next coming months.